been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring gas. Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
Hello, fellow Timberwolves fans. Welcome in. Flagrant Howls here, where we've got a little dose of the latest Timberwolves news.
Latest Timberwolves news.
That's right. It's been a minute, been a little over a week since the last time we convened on this show here. So let's go through some things that have percolated in Wolves Newsville since the last time we talked. But first, Judd, if your HVAC system is percolating,
yeah,
MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning can help you out.
Yeah, you know what? In the last a couple of days, the heat has returned again, and I would guess we're going to get a final heat wave before the summer is over. Hot, humid, sticky. And if your AC is not working up to maximum capacity, guess what? Your house is not nearly as comfortable as it should be, and that is where MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air comes in to save the day. $49 gets you an AC tune-up that's going to get that AC running at full strength. Also, you can ask about the Total Comfort Club membership, which is going to help you plumbing, heating, and air-wise year-round make your home as safe and comfortable as it should be. Just go to callmsp.com or give them a call, 651-615-4292. Call msp.com. Don't sweat it. Make sure that they're at your house so you're not sweating.
That's right.
Wow.
That's what I just came up with that top of my head.
That was good. You're the tagline master. Just rattling off taglines.
It just came to me. I'm a regular Dom Draper.
So this story has been gaining traction throughout like the last 3 to 6 months, and we had another nugget that came out yesterday. But so Michael Grady, who I think we all just universally love Michael Grady around here, Timberwolves fans and listeners of this podcast, I can say that he is just as much of a great, talented person on camera and on mic as he is behind the scenes. Just a really good, genuine human being. And the NBA media world is noticing. So he has now agreed to contracts with NBC, which is jumping back into the NBA for the first time in 20, 25 years, and Amazon. So he's been hired by NBC and Amazon to call NBA and WNBA games on a national level. Now, he put an Instagram post out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and kind of said, hey, it's going to look a little different, Wolves fans, but we're not done yet. So they're working on a modified schedule. I've heard it's ballpark, like maybe half of the games compared to his previous schedule.
Okay.
And according to Pat Borzee, local reporter, he tweeted yesterday that Alan Horton, the longtime 18-year radio voice of the Timberwolves, cut a TV audition tape yesterday with Jim Peterson. And I believe they're also considering Marnie Gellner, who's doing Lynx games, for some additional Wolves action. But just your thoughts on Michael Grady becoming a national star, which is great, and we're happy for him, and the world is seeing how talented he is. But it also kind of leaves a void in Timberwolves telecasts.
He's one of the best broadcasters in town. Like, I would put among the TV folks, I would say he and Provis are the elite guys. And so this is not a surprise. And, you know, we got a little preview of this a year ago. Grady got an ESPN package of games last year. So not entirely a surprise. Any games that you can keep him for, I think, are a positive. Stella is very upset about this, and so I will go quieter. Girl. But I mean, she's a Wolves fan. She's a Grady fan, and by the way, Grady.
She's also a Wolves descendant, right?
Yeah. She is, and she suffered for a long time, and that's her point right now. But Grady deserves this. He is very good. This was going to happen, and I will say, if Alan Horton wants this, I think he deserves it. Like that guy has been a pro's pro for how long?
Totally agree.
The crappy years, the guy worked alone. I think he was originally with Kevin Lynch on radio, and they took Lynch away, and so this guy works solo on radio. And I don't know how much, because the Wolves are so bad, people dipped in and listened, but he is great. So I would say, if Alan Horton wants this job, Alan Horton should have this job. I mean, I'm sure that Marnie might still do a package of games, but at the end of the day, I don't know if she wants the entire package of games. So I think Horton would be a perfect guy to step in to that place and take that job.
Yeah, Horton's awesome, man. I've listened to a few on the radio in years past, but I listened to probably more of them during the playoff run this year because I was coming back from Target Field and Twins games a lot. So I was like catching the first half either on my drive back home and watching the game in the second half. He's hilarious, and we've had him on the show obviously before too. He is not your buttoned up traditional suit and tie. I'm going to call a complete professional basketball game from start to finish. He mixes in little quips. He mixes in little jabs in a fun way. And also like there's the all homer way where like he might be like too much of a homer like other broadcasters are. He is also not one of those. He calls a very even style of game. He's not afraid to call people out. I love him. So if he is the temporary fill-in for Grady, great. And I think Timberwolves fans would have a lot of fun with him.
I'll say this about him. He makes it very clear he wants the Wolves to win if there's bad calls or something. But here is where, and Malloy, but I mean, he will. But here's where he is. I do think I have no problem with the guy rooting for his team. Like, that's fine. It's when you apologize for them, and Horton will crush them. Now on TV, and we've seen this change, I think, a little bit with Provis too. It felt to me like Provis crushed the Twins a little bit more on radio. It's just there's more people watching, and the team, I think they see that as a way to sell tickets. But Horton does a marvelous job of walking the line. If the Wolves screw up, and they did for years and years and years, Horton would absolutely pile on. And that's all I ask. You don't have to call a perfect like you don't care game. I just want you to crush the team when they do something stupid. And then if you want to defend them, to me, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I think there's kind of a whole separate conversation here about like what should a home TV play-by-play or radio announcer, like what line should you walk in terms of if the product is bad or if something bad is happening. Ultimately, you are a team partner. You are an extension of team public community relations in some ways. So I understand, we have no affiliation. So we're going to come on here and go way past that line when we feel like it. If you've listened to the Score North Twin show recently, you've probably picked up on that. But so I agree on the Horton stuff. I think, 18 years. Also, Marnie Gellner's done a good job with links, and she has filled in at times. She did a Chicago Timberwolves game last year. She's done at least a small handful. And so if it was like Alan Horton getting a bunch of TV games, Marnie getting a few here and there, and instead of like bringing in someone from the outside on like a part-time schedule, I love the idea of just elevating the familiar voices and longtime figures that have been around this team. And for Alan, listen, like for him, I'm sure like TV, there's more money in TV too. Like it's just kind of he's conquered radio. And if he wants to do TV, I feel like he deserves a chance to do more TV. It's just a golden opportunity to give him like 30 games or whatever it is, and just let him have this chance in his career that he's been grinding for like 3 decades.
Where does Grady rank because I think it's pretty clear it was, among the Wolves A-Rod Laurie hires? Like Conley's one, right? But like among the hires, is he 2? Like, he was a great, they went and plucked him off of the backup for Brooklyn. So like he was not he was a mainstream, but he was not like a full-time guy. And somebody, A-Rod, because he's familiar with the area, like that was a hell of a get. Because if you guys recall, when Dave Benz lost the job, there was a lot of like, oh man, Benz, he was great and he had this and that. Mm-hmm. And I think it must have been Mark and Alex who said, no, but this guy's really good. And they nailed that hire.
You know what's funny? This just reminded me. We launched Score North 6 years ago. And then like 15 months in, the pandemic hit and we had to kind of start all over, and then we committed all into YouTube, and it became mostly like the three of us, Purple Daily and Mackie and Judd, and then we kind of built it out from there over 5 years. Well, if I won't like shine too much of a light on this because it's all kind of behind the curtain stuff that most people don't care about. But you guys remember there was a guy that you guys are familiar with, a big industry kind of consultant that helped with some stuff early in the Score North days. And one thing he did was say, hey, we're looking to hire some people to come on board. We kind of have a lay of the landscape for the local people, but if you guys were interested, he kind of said, if you guys are interested in hiring some outside of the market people to come to Minnesota, to do talk shows or whatever you're building at Score North. And he handed me a list of like 10 names. And I went back and looked at that list just out of curiosity 2 years ago. Michael Grady was on that list. Not because I don't think he like asked to be on the list, but it was
just good
someone who like knows the industry really well and was like, this is a guy that's like primed to elevate and maybe jump into a new market. And Michael Grady was a name on it because he was doing like talk shows in Indiana and in arena stuff and he had his hand in a bunch of different things, announcing radio and different things in Indiana.
Iron Eagles backup on Yes Network on Nets games. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think so. Yes.
Yep.
But I mean,
so can you imagine a world where like we had, and now he would have had to been in on this and like agreed to it, where he
no, I can't. It was like
the Judd and Grady show on Score North.
No, I can't. No.
He's definitely found the right path. Doing what he's doing now, NBC and Amazon. This is a little Kevin Harlan like.
Yes.
Kevin Harlan. Now Kevin was he was Wolves and Kansas City Chiefs play-by-play, right? In the early 90s, mid-90s?
Yeah, he had been doing, I think when he got the job here, he had been doing the Chiefs on radio, and then he became the television / radio voice of the Wolves. And now he did last, I think he lasted longer exclusively as a Wolves voice. Like, because Grady's in going into year 4 or 5? I mean, he hasn't been here that long, but
year 4.
But it does remind me of like you listen to those guys and you're like, that guy's path is not going to end here.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in the 90s, you had Kevin Harlan as the lead play-by-play voice, getting some national run, and kind of did a split schedule for a little bit. And Gus Johnson for a year or two was one of the backup play-by-play guys. And then you had Chad Hartman, the legendary, our mutual friend Chad Hartman was the lead radio play-by-play guy who would then do some TV as well. Sean Grandy stepped in for a year or two and then became the 20-year Boston Celtics play-by-play guy. I mean, there's been some crazy talent. There's been probably more recognizable, like elite Hall of Fame level talent calling Wolves games over the years than actually playing in Wolves games.
Most definitely. Yes, there is more. If you like put players up against broadcasters, like 1-to-1 to 1-to-1, broadcasters win.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, man. Like Kevin Garnett, Kevin Harlan.
Yeah.
Check. And then, Carl Ant, Michael Grady.
Yep.
Karl Anthony Towns, Gus Johnson. I don't know. We could probably keep going down this list. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's the latest. Michael Grady. We don't know exactly what his schedule is, but it's going to be a much reduced schedule, but still very much the lead Wolves TV play-by-play guy. And then some opportunities for maybe our guy Alan Horton, Marnie Gellner, etc.
I got a question off of this too, just quickly. What do you guys think Inside the NBA on ESPN is going to be like?
Boy,
because to me this is such a huge franchise. Like that franchise, as far as studio shows go, is it?
Yeah. Well, let's. I think to answer that question, you first have to break down what makes Inside the NBA so great, and it's a few things. A couple that are just like not repeatable without those specific 4 guys. Like Ernie Johnson is one of the most talented studio hosts and personalities because he's not just like this mechanical, let's keep the show on the guardrails and ESPN has a lot of those sort of lead studio host people where it is my job to push the conversation forward, make sure we hit the 6 commercial breaks we need to in the hour and keep the topics flowing. It's like that's how ESPN usually does their studio shows. Ernie is like this kind of lean back, I'm going to throw a little bait in the water over here, and then I might say nothing for like 5 minutes. And then, we got a break coming up, but they're not taking breaks every 8 to 12 minutes. They're doing long sets. It's a lot of ESPN's stuff before games, after games, halftimes is like everyone's leaning forward on the edge of their chair, just trying to speed through something to get to another commercial break. And Inside the NBA is the opposite. Everyone is just like chilled back in their chair. There's pauses. They'll just have open formatted 20 minutes where they start with something and they have no idea where it's going to wind up. And it really is more like almost like a podcast or a talk show that is dressed up as a pregame show and a postgame show. So Can they allow that type of space with their formatting? I think is question number one. And then the second thing is inside the NBA, like the brand is pregame. Like they've got their pregame stuff. I think they call it TNT NBA tip off or whatever. But like inside the NBA, the show that everyone references is a post-game show. It's like a 60 to 90 minute post-game show. And ESPN has had Scott Van Pelt right away whenever the game is over, whatever game it is. Could be a college football game, could be an NBA game. 10:30 hits, boom, into Scott Van Pelt, who does a good job too. But are they bumping Scott Van Pelt? Are they bumping SportsCenter? Like there's some big things that have yet to be reported or decided.
If you go back, it looks like there have been announcements made about like when it's going to be on. Like it's not going to be every NBA game. So it's going to pick and choose. And I think it might start around the winter or something like that. So that's my question is, okay, if you're going to pick and choose, which is too bad, but let's just say that you pick your spots for that show, then I think you have to blow out your format for theirs. Because you're right.
Agreed.
Like, well, and I don't think they would have agreed to do this show if they said you're going to have the clock, and that, I think that's the term, right? The clock because it's the commercials and crap. I don't think that they're going to have that for. I don't think those guys would have agreed to do their show because they couldn't do their show, and they're not going to get on there and seriously talk basketball. It's not what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a different feel. It's a different feel, and quite frankly, ESPN I think would be better served to try and, as much as they can, replicate that feel for their pre and post game shows, as opposed to just having Stephen A. Smith. Like, what are we going to do? I guess more Stephen A. Smith, and like, we've talked enough about that. Stephen A. Smith, wildly talented. He's the richest sports talking head in the country, so like props for getting the bag. But he just kind of he creates a tension and a seriousness that doesn't allow for that loosey-goosey. I'm curious, are they going to put, I'm sure they will, Stephen A. at some point on Inside the NBA? And if they do, does he fit into more of the fun, laid-back vibe, or does it turn into like the Stephen A. Smith show with Charles Barkley and Kenny kind of watching it happen? That's my question.
I mean, ESPN's taking things over, man. I mean, they got Red Zone now coming in eventually. WWE will be there starting in early 2026. It's taking things over.
They're spending a lot of money to try and get more people to pay $30 a month for the direct-to-consumer product that's coming out in a couple weeks.
On Red Zone, Goodell though went on ESPN and said they sold the name, that Red Zone is not going to change. You could just now have SEC Red Zone, but they're not taking the production. So according to Goodell, the production will not change.
So NFL it'll still be produced the same way, essentially. Okay.
Correct. So we won't be seeing like Stephen A. Smith get on Red Zone. That's not going to happen. That's good news.
Just wanders onto the set.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, before we get, the Wolves signed a couple dudes, and the preseason schedule is out here. But speaking of commercials, Butcher and the Boore. The new patio. I have not been there yet, but I keep seeing pictures of it, and it looks amazing.
And this is not a commercial. This is talking about friends, folks. And Butcher and the Boore, they are friends, located in the North Loop. And you know what? We are in that time of the year where it's great to sit outside and enjoy a beverage, and heck, enjoy some fantastic food. And have I got the place for you if you're going downtown, if you're going to a ball game in the North Loop, Butcher and the Boore. I mean, first of all, we're talking the Southern-style hospitality food inside, which is fantastic. If you have tried Butcher and the Boore, you know exactly how good it is. But outside, as Phil just referenced, you got the big patio, you got the fantastic craft cocktails, you got delicious beers, and also delicious food available. The patio now redone and better than ever. So check it out, Butcher and the Boore in the North Loop in Minneapolis, and tell them the Sports Dad sent you, so they can look at you sort of confused, like, what are you talking about? And you can say, look, Sports Dad loves the Butcher
Sports
and the
Dad
Boore
trademark logo.
Yep, exactly right.
Who wants more Timberwolves news?
All right, I'm here specifically for Declan's breakdown of Enrique Freeman, if we have time. But the Timberwolves signed two guys. They signed Johnny Juzang, who will get a non-guaranteed free agent contract. So if he doesn't make the team, then he wouldn't count for one of the roster spots. But the Timberwolves also have two open active roster spots. They need to fill one of them for the season. So they're kind of dipping their toe in the Johnny Juzang market, saying, come to camp. It's a non-guaranteed contract. You got to make the team out of camp, but they maintain some flexibility. if they don't want him taking up one of those spots. 6'5" shooting guard, spent the last 3 years with the Jazz, and those are some bad Jazz teams that were injured and putting out guys like Johnny Juzang, all due respect. But he actually started 18 of 64 games of the 64 games he played for the Jazz. So he started a bunch of games for them. He's been a 40% three-point shooter the last 2 years, and 70% of his shot profile is threes. He's a good corner three-point shooter too. So just 6'5" guard who can knock down some shots and may or may not make the team. He's not a guy that I think you would be like second guy off the bench, but if you need some three-point shooting, he can knock down some shots. And according to the Star Tribune, like I said, he will compete for a roster spot in camp, and the Wolves still have 2 guaranteed spots open. He might take one of them. We shall see. And then Enrique Freeman will come to the Wolves on a 2-way deal, according to multiple reports. He's a 6'7" undrafted forward. He played 5 years at Akron, the mighty Akron Zips. Are they the Zips, Judd?
The Zips. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good. Akron Zips. MAC, right?
They are in the MAC. Yeah, in fact,
they're a MAC team.
He was the MAC Player of the Year his last year at Akron. Wow. He was a second-round pick by the Pacers in 2024, so a year ago. And in his last year as the MAC Player of the Year, he zipped around for 19 points and 13 rebounds a game. Played in 22 games for the really good Indiana Pacers last year, only 8 minutes a game. He did make 2 free throws in that crazy win against the Timberwolves where they were mostly... Was that the game where they were all injured and their backups beat the Wolves? Or was it... I can't remember, but it was that week where they played the Pacers twice. And he scored 2 points against the Timberwolves.
Oh, so he contributed to the win. Very nice.
He did, yeah. So they signed a couple of guys. And the preseason schedule is out, gentlemen. Mark your calendars. October 4th. Against the Denver Nuggets at the Pachanga Arena in San Diego, California.
Nice.
That's the first preseason game. And then you come home against the Pacers, the Enrique Freeman revenge game at Target Center on October 7th. Then you go to Madison Square Garden against the Knicks on October 9th. Back to the Target Center on October 13th against the Guangzhou Loong Lions? I think that's a Chinese team.
I'm going along with that. You're right.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with you.
And then a really tough back-to-back road swing to end your preseason at the United Center against the Bulls on October 16th, and then the Wells Fargo Arena on the 17th against the Sixers. So you get that back-to-back there to end your preseason swing. Probably won't see starters in that second game, but those are your 6 preseason games. Mark your calendars. October 4th, less than 2 months away.
Yeah, I went to the game. I think it was the preseason game against the Sixers last year, and it was. Boy, preseason basketball, preseason events across the board are tough, but that was sort of tough.
Didn't they have to move? Initially, they didn't have a back-to-back schedule last year, but then like one of the games had to be moved. Was it because of the WNBA finals? I think.
Oh, probably.
So
I
then
blocked
they moved
out
to
the
Wolves
entire exhibition schedule. And by the way, speaking of the MAC, shout out Wally Zerbiak.
That's right. Miami of Ohio. All right, let's go.
Yep. I'd forgotten. I just went and looked a list of the greatest MAC players of all time. Iceman George Gervin. Ron Harper played in the MAC. Earl Boykins.
Is there like a list of Basketball Reference has to have this, right? Like all-time Minnesota Timberwolves players by conference.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe Dex can look that up for you.
I can maybe look that up for you.
Yeah,
I just bought a. My oldest nephew loves old school Wolves. All my nephews on one of my sisters, they all love old school Timberwolves jerseys. And since last Christmas, his birthday is in like 5 days, but since last Christmas, I've been trying to find a Marbury jersey, and I finally found one.
Nice.
Found a Stephon.
Oh, look at that, dude.
Marbury jersey.
Nice.
Said he wanted one. Very excited for him to wear it.
Yeah.
He loves the old school trees and the old logos.
They're
Their
coming back,
dad
right?
was. What's that?
The
They're
tree
coming
trim,
back, right?
the tree trim,
The
the
trees
trees
are
are
coming back.
coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That not for the regular uniforms, right? It'd be like a special kind of
because they wear like
edition or whatever the heck
87
called.
uniforms. Sorry,
And the Prince one's also coming back too.
which should be back always.
Love the Prince one. I have a
The
Garnett
Prince one should
one.
never be mothballed.
So we're gonna have, and then at some point, I think there's plans to do like a core uniform rebrand as well. I don't know if that's happening for this year.
Yep.
I think it's probably more of a next year thing.
And the other question is, if you do that, is it time for a core court rebrand? I mean, the court has been, go back to the 90s. The court was parquet. They did the parquet floor. Yeah. They did the Celtics floor.
Yeah.
Let's just let's worry about the stadium that they hopefully can get, and the floor can be, down the list.
Okay, I got a suggestion, and Dex is going to hate this. He hates jersey talk.
God.
But I would love to do a flagrant before the season starts, ranking the Timberwolves jerseys all time, and come up with a top 10. I'd love to do
you're saying all of the so the Lake edition, the Prince
edition.
But
to go back to the first ones, the Metrodome ones, because for a long time they wore two. They wore a home and road. But I would love to go back. I mean, there's been so many, and some of them have been fantastic. I'd love to rank them.
That's your homework assignment for sometime in August. Listen, hey, this Flagrant Howls in August and September, man. So I know. Oh, we're doing JHS. We're doing wild shows right now. I know what you're talking about. And what we can do is Declan and I can find, if you can describe or even link us to a picture, we can create a visual for you and make it a whole thing.
They funny enough, and not to be a spoiler, their worst jerseys were when they were the worst teams in the NBA in the 2009, 2011. Those were the worst ones by far. They're so boring.
I love that color scheme the best. Oh, you're saying
no, he's saying they're the worst.
I'm saying they're the worst.
You're saying post KG or the first? Okay, yeah. I
post KG, 2008 through 2013. Those jerseys were awful.
Here's one thing about basketball jerseys that I think are different. Now, hockey jerseys have become a bit more fitted in recent incarnations, but the great thing about the basketball jersey, and hell, the shorts as well, right, is the fitting as well. Like in football, you don't think about, man, the Vikings jersey sure looks sloppier this season. But if you go back and look at through, especially starting with the 90s, because until then it was basically tight shorts. But if you go back and look at the trends and how these, I recall jerseys on the Wolves that looked far less fitted than they do now, that look sloppier, that look more like pajamas.
It's kind of then we went through a phase, and the Wolves had some of these during the Kevin Love era, where I think you'd have T-shirt jerseys too, Warriors.
Just terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when the basketball shorts, which, by the way, I love personally around the house, but they just look like, they were huge.
I think you got to save some of these takes for the official jersey ranking.
Well, I'd like to rank them. I'd like to come up with a consensus top 10, and then, of course, folks can jump in and comment about that.
Yeah. There it is, folks. The latest Timberwolves news here.
Michael Grady.
Homework for the sports dad.
Michael Grady, you go. That's awesome.
Let's go. Go get it. Go get it all. Go get the bag, Michael Grady, and let's give old Alan Horton a little TV love here. All right.
Absolutely.
This is a Timberwolves lifestyle podcast. Dang it. We'll see you guys next week.